Hey, this is Bonnie from Mystical Remix, and today I'm going to go through not one, not two, but three different decks I worked with this past week. Huh? So, yeah, I worked with three different decks this week, but there's a reason and there's an intention. So, for my dailies, I used the Seers Tarot along with a deck for. I keep doing that with making them upside down. A deck for Wonder Walking by Amy Wan as my daily oracle. So these two, look at the boxes together. They look very good together, right? So those were my two daily working decks. And then I also did a weekly intention setting with the Inner Star Oracle Magic Edition by Joel Klima from the Darling Tree. So I'm going to start with talking about the Inner Star. Now, I didn't work with these as dailies. I just worked with this as like end caps of the week. So getting a message for the week ahead and getting a message to kind of sum up the week and what the lesson of that week of this past week was. This is a really beautiful, beautiful deck. The backs are very, very ethereal, kind of reminiscent of a lot of Danielle Noel's work. And the images are very geometric and have this beautiful like color palette to it. So there you go, a couple of these cards. They're just so gorgeous. I love the geometric kind of glyphy imagery, sigil type energy here. Just beautiful. And at the beginning of the week, I got Co-Create Magic to set the intention for last week. And I think that's a really important message coming into last week. And I think we saw that show up quite a bit over the course of this past week. I think this collective experience that we're all going through right now that is quite stressful for a lot of us, this message, Co-Create Magic, really showed up as the week progressed. So many of us started to collaborate in ways that we never knew, that we never really thought of, that we took for granted. Actually, we had all this technology. We've had all of this technology at our disposal for so long, and only now are we really using this as tools. I'm seeing people have online happy hours with their coworkers. I'm seeing small businesses really engage with not just their local community, but with a broader community. I'm seeing yoga instructors set up their home studio and giving lessons out to the community. I'm seeing my local vintage store doing like a fun little variety show / auction. I'm seeing lots of people find new ways to engage with people that they never really dreamt possible. And this is really one of the beautiful things about what's going on right now. There's a lot that we are stressed about, but realizing that we can connect and that we don't need to. We might be physically separated from each other, but we can all be unified and collaborative and be together, even if we are in our own spaces. So that's kind of a beautiful thing. So Co-Create Magic, that was a very important lesson for this week, and I think it showed up for so many people. If there are ways that your community has come together and co-created some magic, I would love to hear that too. And Allow the Unknown was my end cap, my yesterday's message to end the week. And I think that's a very important lesson too. There's so much that's beyond our control right now that we don't know, that we're not going to know for a while. And we just have to be accepting of it and embrace the fact that there's so much going on right now that we need to kind of just embrace, accept, and allow what's going to happen. We might not have the answers, but we need to kind of embrace that. So I think that was really a really insightful message for this week. So really loved working with this deck a lot, and I think I'm going to use this. I think I'm going to use this a lot in the future too. So for my other for the Seers, now everybody has seen the Seers tarot probably a zillion times. And I just love Chris Ann's artwork, and this was something that I had I had wanted, and I put off and I put off and I put off, and then I finally got it when it became mass market, and I used it a couple times, but I never used it extensively over the course of a week. So this was my week to really get to know it. I did use it for um, a reading for somebody, and it was totally spot on. So I thought that was really good because it really had their energy to it. But what really drew me to this deck was this is really the most, like for me, the artwork just draws me in, and I just love the representations and how Chrisanne really interpreted a lot of the traditional RWS and really made it modern for the 21st century and multicultural. You see different ages, you see a lot of different everything, and you see a lot of new ideas and new ways of representing the the messages. So I really thought that was, that's one of the things that gravitated me towards this. Just also love her art style in general, and I hope to get the Muse at some point. I know it's coming out next, like in a few weeks. But I'm trying to get into a little bit of a depth mode right now, just with everything going on. I just kind of want to be as mindful with any kind of purchases outside of necessity right now, but that's just where I'm going. So one thing that I love about this, um, she does use reversals. So she has the light seeker and the shadow seeker. So yes, there are if you work with reversals, this is a reversal friendly deck. I also do the practice of picking a light card and a shadow card, which she also mentions in here. And I got that idea from others in the past. So what I do is I don't pick just one card because I can't. I'm a typical Sagittarius. I can't just commit to one. So and there are so many cards that I just love in this deck. So I put them all together in one pile. I put the ones that I'm not really don't like in another pile, and then the ones that I'm kind of indifferent to in another pile. For this week, my card of light turned out to be the Six of Wands, which I thought was kind of interesting. I really do love this representation. Like, she's on stage, she has her microphone, which is the flame of fire, and she has the audience, and she's confident, and she's exuding success, and that's like gaining that glory and applause. Like, this is definitely, like, at its best, this is a very successful, powerful, confident deck. This deck has a lot of confidence, and you feel that confidence coming out of it for sure. And the Ace of Wands was the shadow, and I just don't like this representation of the Ace of Wands. I just don't like this card. I don't know why. I'm looking at it now, and I'm like, I don't have as much of an aversion to it as when I first saw it, but it's an interesting card to get as a shadow card. But I think the thing is here, the message here is, hey, I'm going to give you the seed. You might have the idea, I'm going to give you the seed, but it's what you do with it. You have to do something with it. I'm going to give you the idea, but it's how you manifest it that's going to be what matters. So I'm going to give you the advice, but it's how you take it. So I think that's this is a very straightforward deck that is very confident, but it's like, hey, I can only give you the tool. It's what you do with it. So that's kind of my interpretation there. And then we go into a deck for Wonder Walking, which is so gorgeous. This is just beautiful. Amy T. Wan created this deck. It was originally a Kickstarter deck, and she also did have some available for sale on her website. I missed out on the Kickstarter, but I did get the cards, and I pre-ordered the journal that goes along with it, which is coming out soon. And just these beautiful, beautiful watercolor paintings that she does. They're so immersive, and they're just so gorgeous. And the messages are just very beautiful, very intuitive. I love these. And these are loosely based on Jungian systems. So you have four realms, and she was calling them, like, you have the physical realm, which is also known as wonder and curiosity, the creative realm, which is magic making, the inner realm, which is truth finding, and the influence realm, which is secret garden. Um, and what this deck is also multi-purpose, so you can use this deck to in to go out for the day. If you're going to take a walk, take a card with you and meditate on this card and what kind of thoughts it brings you, and then journal about it and think about that experience as you're looking at the world through wonder and curiosity. So that's kind of one of the purposes of this deck. Another purpose is using it as an oracle, and honestly, the cards do look very gorgeous next to each other. They really do work and play very beautifully together. Um, they do. They really work beautifully together. And it gave me some very deep, insightful messages as I went through day by day, which is great. So there's that. And the other thing about Wonder Walking, so like that was daily oracle use, but it's also what she also called out as another way to use this deck is for creative unblocking. So if you're stuck in a creative project, pull a card, see what that means, and how can you connect to those themes to your project. So it just really helps you there. Also as art prompts, so if you're thinking of painting or if you're thinking of creating something, what do these prompts help spark in your energy. So I really do think that these decks work beautifully together. One other thing that I wanted to mention about my experience working with the light seers is that this week, what I did this week too is I added up all of the, every day after I did all my readings, I also added up the what the numerical counts were on this, because I also do a little bit of correspondences. And when I added it up, it came out to 81, which also reduced to 9 for Hermit. So this week is the other message from the light seers that I got overall was this period of introspection and self-discovery. So I think, again, it was really spot on, really, really spot on, and the decks just worked kind of beautifully together. And yeah, so I just wanted to kind of share that experience with you. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Thanks. Bye.